boo, 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 boo. Come on.
In the world of The Incredibles, most superheroes were wiped out by Syndrome's robots. But did you know that some superheroes are still alive and might play a big role?
Gamma Jack. We don't know if he's dead all the way. I'm just gonna say that.
In the future of the franchise? One of them was even mentioned in the very first movie, but hardly anyone noticed. When Syndrome showed up in public, someone actually mistook him for a guy named Fireronic. Back then, we didn't know who this was, but we got to see him in a flashback in The Incredibles 2.
By the way, the fact that this nigga Syndrome was literally wiping out damn near all the superheroes is ridiculous work. Like, how did they give this nigga that? That's why like, the NSA shit makes sense. The only way that this nigga is able to get these niggas, all of them like this, is he gotta be working with the NSA. And if they are a smart nigga, they should put that in the next movie, nigga. Syndrome was working with the NSA or something, like, nigga, government trying to take y'all down. Nigga, supers gotta nigga, Malcolm X that motherfucker. I think they went that direction, nigga. That is a 10 out of 10 instant classic movie on my life.
He was a superhero from Mr. Incredible's era with the power to create and control fire. The reason Syndrome was confused with Fireronic is that their costumes look somewhat alike. Like all the other superheroes, Fireronic was forced into retirement when vigilantes were banned from fighting crime. But here's the thing, he didn't show up on Syndrome's Project Kronos list out of heroes eliminated by the Omni Droids. So there's no real evidence that Fireronic died. Apparently, he just went on living an ordinary life after retiring and was never found by Syndrome.
Bro, they gotta pull these niggas out retirement for this. Bro, oh my god, this shit gonna be tough, bro.
Good thing, too, since the Omni Droids managed to wipe out Blazestone, another hero who could control fire, meaning Fireronic probably wouldn't have stood a chance. But since superheroes were officially legalized again in the second film, it's not crazy at all to think Fireronic could return to action and show up in The Incredibles 3. He's just the first of the 10 superheroes from The Incredibles that nobody knew were still alive. So grab your popcorn, another Cinewave is starting. Gamma Jack is a pretty mysterious character in the world of The Incredibles. With the power to create radioactive explosions, he was also a superhero from the older generation. The catch is, he wasn't exactly that heroic. He was arrogant, and always focused on rescuing pretty women before paying attention to anyone else in danger.
I like how he showed Mirage. That's a good one.
According to Syndrome's data, Gamma Jack was eliminated by an Omni Droid. Even so, it's possible he might still be alive, because there's a theory that Gamma Jack is actually Jack Jack. Sounds crazy, right? Yeah, it does. But these two share more similarities than you'd think. For starters, they're both blonde, and they both have Jack in their names. So far, those could just be coincidences, but things get really suspicious when you remember that one of Jack Jack's powers is shooting green laser beams, which are identical to the blast Gamma Jack can shoot, as we see in LEGO The Incredibles. Could it be that Jack Jack's lasers were actually radiation this whole time? Even with that in mind, it's understandable if you still don't buy the story. After all, Gamma Jack was already an adult long before Mr. Incredible's son was born. But here's where another clue comes in. In The Incredibles 2, Jack Jack learns how to teleport into another dimension, and his family needs to use a special scanner to actually see him in this other plane, which the scanner calls the fourth dimension. Anyone who knows a little physics understands that the fourth dimension represents time. So technically, Jack Jack travels through time every time he teleports into that dimension. On top of that, according to Edna Mode, it's normal for super babies to have tons of abilities when they're little and then only keep a few of them as they grow up. So it's totally possible that one day Jack Jack could accidentally travel back in time and lose both his time travel ability and most of his other powers, keeping only the ability to control radiation. That would be insane, but it's hard to deny that the theory has some chance of being true. And if that's the case, Gamma Jack technically makes the list of superheroes alive today because baby Jack Jack is him, and he's still alive. Still in the realm of theories, Gazerbeam was a great friend of Mr. Incredible and one of the most important superheroes of the old generation, but unfortunately he was killed by an Omni Droid. So much so that Mr. Incredible found his bones inside a cave on Syndrome's island, along with the password to the villain's computer carved into the wall. Writing that down was the last thing Gazerbeam did before dying, which means he had figured out that the whole thing was a trap. But what if, in reality, Gazerbeam only faked his own death to escape Syndrome? It wouldn't have been the first time the villain got tricked. Mr. Incredible himself managed to escape an Omni Droid.
I also think this one is very much possible just because of who Gazerbeam is. He's a lawyer. He's a smart ass nigga. He could figure that out
and make the
and do that move, hit that play on niggas. You feel me? They're not gonna see it coming.
robot believe it had taken him out. And we're talking about Gazerbeam here. The guy was smart enough to uncover Syndrome's plans and even get the password to his computer. If he was capable of all that, he might also have defeated one of Syndrome's guards and swapped clothes with him to escape the island, leaving the guard behind in that cave in his place. That would make him one of the most ingenious supers in the Incredibles universe. In the Incredibles 2, several heroes show up who are still alive today. Most of them are rookies, but one who really stands out is Reflux, an elderly superhero with the power to vomit lava. Yeah, pretty gross. What's curious is that we're not really sure if he's just some old guy who only recently decided to become a superhero, or if he's actually a veteran who was already fighting crime long before Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl and decided to come out of retirement. If that's the case, he was probably forgotten over time, especially because of that bizarre ability of his. If you also think the superheroes from the Incredibles are super interesting, drop a
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base44.
comment down below with #super. Another hero from the new generation, or better yet heroine, who appears in The Incredibles 2 is named Brick. Yes, despite her appearance and her voice, this character is a woman. She has the power to grow as massive as a brick wall, making her extremely strong and resistant in the process. Even Mr. Incredible had trouble fighting her one-on-one, which only proves how powerful she is.
Also, you see that tag team? She hit that. I love Elastigirl. She just. And then I pew pew pew. You feel me? That's that real teamwork.
And how she could become one of the greatest superheroines of the new generation. You could even say Brick is this universe's version of the Hulk. One of the best scenes in the very first Incredibles movie is the one where Edna Mode explains why heroes should never wear capes and shows examples of several who lost their lives because of them. One of the unlucky ones was Splashdown, who got sucked into a whirlpool, but many believe he's another one who might have faked his own death for several reasons. First, because Splashdown was an aquatic hero able to manipulate water and breathe underwater. So it's kind of strange that he supposedly died because of a whirlpool. The real clue, though, is that Splashdown had an obsession with the idea of finding the lost city of Atlantis, the one some people theorize sank into the ocean. And as if that weren't enough, his body was never found, according to data from the National Supers Agency. Putting all of this together, the theory arises that Splashdown staged that accident so he could abandon his duties to humanity and spend the rest of his life in the ocean on his mission to find Atlantis. It's been many years now. Could it be that he actually found the sunken city? You might not know Peeping Tom, but he's another super who shows up in the first Incredibles, though with very little screen time. A picture of him appears in a newspaper after Mr. Incredible was sued at the start of the movie. That's because Peeping Tom was one of the first heroes to be sued after him. The reason was that this super's power was being able to see through walls with X-ray vision.
Why they call this nigga Peeping Tom too? That's dead funny, I ain't gonna lie.
Which led to accusations that he used this ability to look under people's clothes. Something unforgivable.
I mean, who wouldn't? Nah, let me chill. I wouldn't do that.
There's no confirmation that these accusations were true, but if they were, Peeping Tom would definitely land on the list of evil superheroes in the Incredibles universe. He doesn't appear on Syndrome's list of heroes eliminated, probably because he was never actually found. After all, this guy faced a very serious accusation and must have worked a lot harder to stay hidden than the rest of the heroes. And you know what's not hidden at all? Our subscribe button! It really wants you to click it. So how about doing that in exchange for getting all of our videos about your favorite animations?
Thank you!
Another older heroine who doesn't appear on Syndrome's list of eliminated supers is Plasmabolt, and we've got some pretty good reasons to believe she was never
Plasmabolt got fucked up, I heard.
Caught by the villain. The first is that she was most likely the key to defeating the Omnidroids. Plasmabolt's main ability was absorbing electromagnetic energy from the environment through her antennas and transforming it into plasma blasts. And guess what runs on electromagnetic energy? Syndrome's robots, which would simply shut down if they got too close to her. Even if the villain somehow figured out a way around that, there was another issue. Plasmabolt was always obsessed with outdoor activities and life in nature. After superheroes were banned, it's very possible she simply abandoned society and went off to live isolated in some forest. That's probably why she was never found. Ever see her apparently what?
You said them shots starting the show? Chill, twin.
Wasn't as lucky as the last two heroes we mentioned, since
I ain't gonna lie, realistically, I feel like
he showed up on the list of supers eliminated by the Omnidroids. But pay attention to the word apparently, because we're talking about a telepath here. This hero's fighting style was to use his psychic powers to manipulate his enemies' minds, making them think they were fighting him. So why would it be far-fetched to believe he pulled the same trick on Syndrome, making the villain only think that his Omnidroid destroyed Everseer? Of course, for that to happen, he would first have needed to discover Syndrome's plan, but here's the thing. According to the Incredibles comic series published by Boom Studios, Everseer was able to see the future, and actually predicted his own death 10 years before it supposedly happened.
Everseer is that guy. 10 years before.
Now, the comics aren't considered canon in the official timeline of the franchise, but one or two details still might be considered canon, even though we don't have confirmation. And if one of those secretly canon details was the ability to see up to 10 years into the future, then Everseer had everything he needed to escape and make everyone believe he had died. Following that same logic, another one who may have escaped is Psychwave. She also had mental powers, being able to control people. On top of that, according to the Operation Kronos' database, Psychwave was capable of predicting other people's thoughts and actions. It's kind of hard to believe she wouldn't have foreseen the evil intentions of Mirage, Syndrome's secret agent who pretended to be nice in order to lure superheroes straight to the Omni.
I'm not gonna lie, if they get these niggas, bro, this shit gonna be tough. We basically gonna see Avengers, bro.
Droids, especially with that whole secret mission story.
Streets need a horror game though, brother. That shit we banging. I know, bro. I know. I need to get back on my gaming, because what's the point of getting this if I didn't get a gaming?
Already sounding so suspicious. So yeah, it seems like the world of The Incredibles still has way more heroes than we ever imagined. And keep in mind, we're not even talking about all the ones who appeared in The Incredibles 2, not to mention those who will still be introduced in the third movie of the franchise, which is currently being produced by Disney. We left two super fun videos right here on your screen.
Alright.
Hot, love hard and make bad decisions. It's first Sunday, I'm still begging for Jesus. Can he save me from the fire and the Jezebel spirits? Got bad bitches walking through my thoughts like a demon. Will she take my semen, bear my seed? Can she